Horsey, the son of Honor Code, who earned over $2 million in just 11 starts, is here and ready to do business. Horsey is here to do business. Horsey is here to do business.
All right. It's that time again, man. So you know what? Been looking forward to this conversation with this young man for quite some time now. And tonight is all about growth. Believe it or not, it's always good to see where we came from. And I met this young man back in I think it was June 2023. I think I met him down in BC, and back then I didn't know who he was. We had a quick conversation, and we met, and lo and behold, just from the get go, him sharing just a few things about himself. I wasn't surprised to see him here at Woodbine, and wasn't surprised to see the progression of him and what he's doing and what he's about to do. Because believe it or not, I know he's going to do some big things. It's just one of those things when you see a young person and they got some drive and so forth. You can just tell, man. So, let's get it going. Let's bring this man on stage. Get used to him. Get used to him, man. Fraser Aebly.
How you doing?
Hey, welcome to the platform, man.
Thank you very much.
Very nice to have you.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Man, I see you. We spoke earlier, and you told me that you were down in Florida, but I see you wearing a toque. What's going on?
Yeah, well, I didn't want to do my hair, and I thought I had to look funny on camera, so the toque it was. There's the honest answer there.
It's funny you say that because I don't even think I know what your hair looked like because you're always wearing a helmet.
Yeah, I try and keep that under wraps.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I was just sharing the fact that we met in BC, and I didn't know who you was at that time, and now look at you, man.
Yeah, we met in BC. We talked in the spring a little bit, and kept working, and made it out to Woodbine.
What? The thing about that is always good to be good to people that you meet for the first time, or you just don't know who's who and where you're gonna go. Because let me tell you, man, maybe in a year or two you could be some big star, and I can say, oh, at least I was nice to him, and he can be nice to me, right?
Yeah, for sure. I was actually really excited when you asked me to come on. I was pretty hyped.
Hey, look, man. You know what? We had a bunch of apprentices on the platform, so don't be surprised, man. It's all about the youth, all about the growth. We've had Amanda.
But I'm not gonna lie to you.
Pardon?
I was feeling a little left out.
Oh. Hey, no, man. Everything takes time, man. It's just a matter of scheduling and getting around to you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, 100%. Just bugging you.
No, I definitely have my eyes on you ever since you were down in BC. I was actually monitoring, watching the races down there too as well. I saw the moves you made when you went back to, I think, Alberta, I think Winnipeg as well, right? So,
yeah, I did end up. I rode. I can't remember exactly what it was, but rode quite a bit in Winnipeg and stopped in Edmonton for the Derby and a couple other races.
Yeah. So I always keep my eyes on people who I meet, and just to see how they're doing, how they're progressing, and it's always a thrill for me just watching the growth. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, come a long way in a year.
Yeah, man. So let's start it off like this. So let's tell us a little bit about your background. Where you were born and so forth.
Yeah, so I was born in Grand Prairie, Alberta. Um, Parents always had horses, and since I was about 13, I always wanted to be a jockey. And um, yeah, I got through school, and mom said I couldn't go to the racetrack till I graduated high school. So I ended up graduating early. I graduated high school in January, and then I went out to BC. Well, before that, me and my dad took a I'm not sure if my mom came or not, but me and my dad for sure. We went up to Vancouver. We went to the yearling sale, and we met a bunch of great people. We met the trainer who gave me a shot on, like, first started galloping, first started racing. Steve Henson. We met him, and we met Scott Williams, who's a very very big mentor to me. And yes, I graduated in January, and then I was galloping in Vancouver in February.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think I met Scott as well. I think I met a bunch of people down there. So that's you know it's really cool. There's a lot of old timers who are into the horses down in BC. They love it. I see there's some young blood coming in, but there's still a lot of history down there with the trainers and the track and so forth.
Yeah, there's definitely some young people out there for sure, and a lot of old people that are very, very, very wise.
That's right. That's right. Now, I always wanted to ask you, like, you're from Alberta, but what attracted you to BC?
Um, I met a bunch of great people out there, and I got a real warm feeling when I started. So, that kind of pushed me to head out there to start out with.
Pretty
Uh,
cool.
yeah, like when we went out for the yearling sale, we met those people, Steve and Scott, and Scott's wife Bailey, and they just kind of treated me like family, and I thought that was the right place to start. And there was a lot of great people who started out there too, like Saheen was out there, like Saheen Savachi. Justin started out there. Alex Marti was there. Kevin Nichols was there, just to name a few.
You know what? I knew that about Justin, and I knew that about Keve. I didn't know that about Sahin.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know. I don't think he started there, but he was definitely out there for a few years.
hmm. I wonder how important that is to have a start out there, and that kind of grind. How it pushes you to do a little bit better or something. Do you get that feeling or what?
Yeah, I think it's that, and it's a really good racetrack for a young jockey, because it is only five. I think it's a little over 5/8 of a mile, so your turns are a little tighter, and it really forces you to get your position early and um, make sure you're in a good spot.
Yeah, I definitely, for me, out in BC and Hastings racetrack, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I know is a shorter track, so it is a little bit different. But for me, being out there for the first time, I really enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun out there. I definitely planning on going back. It gives me a old time feeling. Just the vibes of the people on the side and everything. Do you get the same kind of feeling?
Yeah, definitely. It's little bit of an older racetrack, so you kind of get that vibe from it.
Do you ever get used to the there's so much fans sometimes on some good races just standing on the side so close to you. What does that feel like when you go into the winner's circle and there are so many people just kind of on the rails watching
Well,
the
when you
stand?
go into the winner's circle, it feels pretty good.
Yeah. I know, right?
Yeah. But yeah,
I
no,
know.
especially like the first time I was in front of like a bigger crowd, it was very surreal.
No,
Like,
I gotta tell you, man. You started out in BC. You rode all your races for the first year. It was all in Hastings, right?
yeah,
Wow, man. And do you remember the first horse that you won on?
yes, I do. Um, it's he older horse. His name was Quagmire. It was 6.5 furlongs, went to the front and couldn't catch us.
That's right. And that same year, I think you won 3 races.
Yes, so I started the fall of 2022. I won. Actually, I won my first and my third race on that horse.
That's right, man. So that's a special horse for you because you won 2 races the same year on that horse. So that must hold a special place in your heart.
Yeah, I gallop the horse every day too.
Nice, 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 very
Yeah.
nice. Now I got to tell you, man. You got a little record here that is looking pretty attractive. 522 races starts. You got 71 wins first, 96 seconds, and 64 thirds. Uh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, wish the seconds were a little lower and the wins were a little more, but I won't complain too much.
Eventually, they'll probably get higher.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're used to that by now, and you're well aware that the first place finishes it gets a little bit tougher.
Sometimes they're hard to come by.
Hey, look, man. Starting out down in BC, you were born in Alberta. Around you, are there a lot of guys and girls who want to be jockeys, or was it just mainly you that decided to take that path in your community?
I think it was out of all the people that I know from home and kind of that were around me, I think I was the only one that was kind of wanting to go this path.
And did you tell me one time that your dad was he a jockey as well, or was he just involved in the races?
No, he owned a couple horses throughout the years.
Yeah, I always remember your dad because remember your dad's name was Derek. So I was
Yeah.
like, I'll never forget this.
Yeah. I think
I remember when we were out in Hastings. Was that? Go ahead.
I think it's even spelt the same too.
Oh, pretty cool. I remember when we were out in Hastings, and when you said your dad's name was Derek, I was like, that's pretty cool because Derek, they're supposed to be strong, great people. So let's see where this goes, where this Derek goes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh man. So we got some time with you, so I just want to reel in a lot of information from you because you're so young. You got so much energy. What's the vibe like in BC? In the mornings, do you guys get early, get started early in the morning and get going?
I wouldn't say crazy early. I think the track opens like 6 o'clock in the summers when it's real hot. And I think it's 6:30 when in the spring and fall, depending on daylight.
6:30, eh?
I think so. I could be wrong.
Well, 6:30. I'm thinking 6:30 is a little bit late. But then again, I think BC might be a little bit more laid back than Toronto. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I think I don't want to say laid back is the word, but I can't remember the word I'm looking for here. But
maybe it's just the fact that there's a what is it, a 3-hour difference, so maybe it played on my mind when I was down there. So I was a little bit sleepy most of the time when I was in BC.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah.
Oh man, so obviously you're a young man. Like, what's your age? I mean, if you don't want to say it, you don't have to say it, but you look like you're a pretty young man.
I'm 19. Well, I turned 20 in
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And please don't get offended because I said pretty young man. I didn't mean that you're pretty. I just meant,
No.
Oh man, you're young. So life must be really good for you.
Yeah, there's no complaints I got at the moment. Life's been treating me pretty good.
I was just teasing you off air a little bit that that you don't have a wife and kids yet or anything like that, and you say you're not ready yet. So I guess uh, you still got a few horses to ride before you get to that stage where you want to settle down with those kind of thoughts.
Yeah, maybe a few more winners, and maybe I'll start thinking about it.
I'm just trying to get the audience to warm up, just to get to know you a little bit, because I always find that it's always good when people can kind of relate to you, or have a smile with you or something. You were born in Canada, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I was talking to one of the owners at Woodbine, and they really wanted to see some Canadian riders. So I'm pretty sure there's a few people who may be very excited to know that Fraser, that you got the horse blood. You want to ride. It's in you, and you got passion for it. So I'm pretty sure there's a few owners and trainers who are excited about that. That whole Canadian feel.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you don't really see too, like, especially like out west and like in Vancouver, Alberta, and BC. You don't see too many Canadians. There's a few in Toronto, but a lot of the riders come, from Barbados, Jamaica, Mexico. You don't see too many like Canadians now.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I thought it would have been different. Once I ventured out west, I think I still need to get to Alberta and get down to Winnipeg to see. I know what the jockeys are, because I can see from the races who's riding, but just want to see what the feeling is like out there. Is there a different vibe in different areas?
Yeah, I like Century Mile or Edmonton, Alberta. Um, it's a pretty fun place there.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, you take the racing aspect super serious and all that, but there's a pretty fun vibe outside of that.
I mean, we were talking, and you were saying that you think that you've ridden at every racetrack in Canada so far.
Yeah, I think the only one that I haven't rode at was Century Downs when Edmonton makes the switch from Century Mile to Century Downs in the fall. But I rode at Vancouver, Assiniboia Downs, Fort Erie, and Woodbine.
To me, that's a good feeling, but also it just tells me that we ain't got that much tracks, and to me, that's a little bit I won't say depressing, but it's a little bit interesting to find out that there's only a few tracks. There's not that many.
Yeah, and they're very far apart too. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Don't ever forget that part.
That 3 hour flight from Winnipeg to Vancouver was getting old.
Now, you know, your first year at Hastings, when you were riding, right? You got your first ride, you got your first win, you won 3 races that year, and so forth. Was there ever a point when you were like, this is harder than I thought, or did you get the feeling, there's room for improvement?
Yeah, definitely. I thought it was really hard. Like, obviously, like I had 2 rides my first day. I ended up winning. I think it was the second mount I rode. It ended up winning. After that, I was like, "Oh, this is easy. I can do this." But I was very quick to realize it's not so easy. But I've loved the whole part of it. Every single day, I wake up happy to be here.
Awesome, man. Awesome. It's the drive, and that's what I see when I go on the back stretches. I talk to the guys involved in racing. Is just having that passion where you get up every morning, you know your job, you go about your business, get it done, and hopefully you score some mounts with some trainers. How tricky is that part? Is it different out west versus Toronto?
It's different in a sense, but it's all kind of it's similar but different in all the sense. And
Now,
all the agents like I had a Vancouver agent, I had a Winnipeg agent, I had a Woodbine agent, and they were all very, very good. A lot of credit goes out to them, and they all did a very fantastic job. So
Awesome, man. Awesome. Um, you came out here in Toronto, and I was watching you because I was watching you from before, but obviously the horses that you got on wasn't getting no respect. Uh, does that do anything for you when you see stuff like that happen?
I try not to pay attention to the odds too much or anything like that. I just try and ride my race and try and win as much as I can.
Hmm. Interesting. I know some jockeys when they don't get the respect from the public, sometimes they like to prove people wrong. So you may just be one of those silent ones that you're just gonna prove them quietly.
Yeah. No, I try not to pay attention to the odds. I still gotta ride my race and I still gotta ride hard and try and win. It
Very
doesn't matter
cool.
if favorite or 100 to 1. I'm gonna try and win.
Now, I want to ask you because you seem pretty composed and mature. I mean, you're 19 years old. I mean, so definitely you're a grown young man. So, but I mean, in terms of what you're saying and everything else, you seem very composed. Did you get some schooling for that? Like someone pull you aside and say, "Hey, this is what you say on media, and this is what not to say."
No, definitely not.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. Just to learn those kind of language and so forth from an early stage, I think is very important, and that will take you a long way, especially in your business.
Yeah, definitely. The media is a huge part of it, whether it's an after the race interview or whatever. Um, any way to help the sport that we can is a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. You were joking earlier. We were saying that you were wondering if you were never going to get on this stage, but we've had quite a few apprentices. I've spoken to Jones when he was writing, Amanda, Rachel, even spoke to Michael David when he just turned a journeyman. But I'm trying to figure out who else. There've been so many lately that I think I'm losing track. But I'm really happy to have you on because you know what? Just like they say with the 2-year-olds, in a year or two, who knows? You could be a big star, and at least it'll be pretty cool to know that you came here and you had some words with me, man.
Yeah, definitely. I was very happy when you reached out and asked if I wanted to come on.
Yeah, definitely. I've been watching, especially after I see you shocked the board at Woodbine with I think it was a 64 or 68-1 shot. I was like, who is this kid? And he came back and won on a 29 or something like that shot, 29-1, some other long shot. I was like, you're definitely riding.
Yeah, it was 68. I remember that one. It was
It was 68.
it's funny you say that. So the trainer, Ron Sadler, because I picked that horse up. So I went by the barn earlier in the week, like a couple days before, and he says to me, "This horse hasn't been running good. He's out of form," and he says this horse is gonna win. I said, "Okay, I will give you my best." And he tells me the kind of the race plan, and we break out of the gates, and it sets up exactly what he said it was gonna do. All right. When we got to the head of the lane, I had a horse, and we ended up winning. He was right.
Man, that's a pretty cool story.
Yeah.
That's a really cool story. To be quite honest, just to hear the fact that your trainer told you that everything panned out, and you know, Ron is a pretty good guy, pretty likable guy. So you got to give the hats off to trainers like that and good guys like that.
Yeah, 100%. He had that horse right. And I think he come back his next race in a little tougher race, and he still finished third.
Wow, man. Um, that's pretty cool. Now, do you still keep a connection with Ron and even throughout the winter and so forth?
I haven't talked to him since I think the last day at Woodbine, but I'm definitely going to be stopping back there in the spring.
Well, I spoke to Ron on I think the very last weekend of races at the track. And definitely Ron is this winter, he's just gonna be with those horses, just kind of like hanging out. Ain't nothing else to do. Trust me, Ron is like he's loving those horses. He's just gonna play with them and get them ready for the spring.
Yes, he loves the horses, and that's the big thing.
Can I ask you a question about racing, man? Because who's your idol as a young man? Who's your idol?
It's kind of changed a lot over the past year. Like, obviously, you kind of look up to the Ortiz brothers, kind of what they've done over the past, what is it, 6, 7 years of just how dominant they've been. You got to look up to guys like Tyler Gaffalone, and there's so many guys you can look up to. But I really like the way like Tyler Gaffalone handles business and all that kind of stuff. And I think I really like the way Kazushi rides. I've taken a lot from him. I think he is a very, very good person. He's a great friend of mine, I will say. He rides really well, and he's a great person as well. So I respect him and look up to him quite a bit.
Man, that's cool. You know what? But you know what you're telling me? You're telling me man, that I'm getting old, man, because your idols are like young, very young men, Kasushi, like Tyler, like all these young men. So I'm getting really, really old.
Well, we can go down the list if you want, but long list.
Oh, but that's pretty cool. I'm glad that you found some good company.
Yeah.
I was talking to a jockey today, and I'll tell you what, it's always interesting. Like you mentioned, Kazushi and so forth, and Tyler. It's always good when game meets game. And you're game, you meet one of the jockeys who are game. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What excites you the most when you're writing? Is it the purse, the fame, the opportunity to grab some glory, or maybe some girls on the side giggling? What excites you the most, man?
Winning.
Just winning.
Winning races.
Now, would you care if it's a $100,000 race or just a $20,000 race?
I want to win them all.
You want to win them all.
Yeah.
Every trainer wants to hear that. And Keith Edwards, I think he just popped on. He mentioned that you are one of his guys. And it's always good when trainers can give you that respect and say, "Hey, look, I like this kid."
Yeah, Keith is a very good trainer. I think I win the one race for him this year, and I really like Keith as a trainer and a person.
That's pretty awesome, man. It's amazing to me that you haven't been at Woodbine for that long, and already people are taking a liking to you. What is it about you?
I don't know.
Well, I can tell you from my first conversation with you that you're pretty likable. And that's undeniable. So hats off to your parents. Hats off to whoever schooled you a bit about life and meeting people and getting along with people. I think that's important.
Definitely my parents.
Oh yeah, quite interesting. Do you think that in this game of racing, what's your biggest takeaway so far from the game?
Got to keep a cool head no matter what. You
A
can't
cool
get
head.
whether you get a bad break or not the greatest position. You got to keep a cool head and try and make it work. There's going to be ups and downs, and got to roll with it.
How difficult is that sometimes, especially for a young man? Because I can tell you from watching all the young apprentices how much you guys want to win. So I know it must be difficult sometimes when you've got so much energy, but the horse can only go so much. Uh, what's the feeling like when you think you can take it all the way, but the horse doesn't have that?
It's definitely frustrating, but horses always come first, and but there's like there's gonna be tough days and there's gonna be really good days. So you got to keep your chin up and look forward to the next one if you can't win that one.
I would say that's pretty sound advice, and I think that you're on the right track if you keep that up. That's very important because you won't win them all.
No, like you look at a good jockey's what, 20%, 21%. I mean, I'm 14% or something, but we're working on it.
Hey, look, man, you've done pretty good so far. I mean, even the move from out west and coming to Woodbine. Is the plan to stay at Woodbine?
Yeah, that's gonna be the plan. I'm gonna start the spring out in Woodbine and ride the year there.
Okay, pretty cool. I'm pretty sure some trainers will be excited to hear that, and owners. But currently, you're in Florida.
Yes, that is correct. I'm in Ocala right now.
But you see, what you doing out there? You on vacation? I mean, it's winter. What are you doing? What are you doing, man?
A little bit of little bit of galloping, a little bit of vacation, playing some golf.
Playing golf.
Yeah, I love golf.
Oh my goodness, that's that's a plus, a bonus plus because playing golf at 19 years old in Florida, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I go gallop some horses in the morning and then go play 18.
Who do you play with?
I can go by myself, or if somebody wants to come, I can play with them or meet somebody at the course.
Oh, you know what? I think you're off to a really good start because just the fact that you're willing to meet people on the golf course is important. That's where a lot of business is done. Hopefully, you meet some very interesting trainers and horse owners out there. Is it a predominantly horse owners uh, course, or is it just anyone?
No, anyone can go, but there is lots of horse people here. Very much a lot of horse people. Whether it's show jumping, horse racing, whether in the 2-year-old or yearling business, there's a lot of horse people here.
Oh, awesome, man! Awesome. Now you've made some really good strides so far. What's your ultimate goal as a jockey?
Leading jockey, win the King's Plate.
Anymore?
I go down the list. You want to win the Kentucky Derby, obviously, like everybody.
Hmm.
You want to win an Eclipse Award.
Those are some pretty big and solid goals to have. I really hope that they all can pan out and come true for you. I think with this attitude, obviously you're gonna win some more races, and I think you won't be a secret no more. You're definitely not gonna shock no one no more after this.
Hopefully not.
I spoke with the Stephen Gaskin a few weeks back, and
Yeah,
we were talking, and he mentioned the fact that, and I've said this to him too as well, that while you were out in BC, watching you out on the West Coast, and I watched you in a few races in Winnipeg and so forth. But after coming to Woodbine, I noticed that I don't know what you did, if you adjusted any the style of riding or whatever, but you look a lot different. Was there a different feeling once you got to Woodbine, or was it just a matter of jumping on different horses?
the style change, that was a big credit to my agent, Jerry Olguin. He rode for I think he rode for 20, 30 years. Very, very helpful. He really made me connect with the horse more and really helped the horse. That's where the style change kind of come from. And it was definitely for the better. We got a lot of better results out of that. And yeah, big credits to Jerry. He helped me so much. We're looking forward to 2024.
Jerry's a good guy. I met Jerry, I think a couple years back, and Jerry's a good guy. You can always know the good ones because talking to him from the jump, is always they can tell you a lot of things right away, and it's pretty cool. So I'm glad you guys hooked up.
Yeah, that was a big thank you to Steve Henson who helped start me out. He put me in contact with Jerry.
And did Jerry rode out there as well?
Yeah, he rode in Vancouver for I don't know how many years he rode there, but he did ride in Vancouver.
Vancouver, man. Is it speaking of Vancouver? I know that they were doing the Triple Crown Derby out there. It had started.
Yeah, so what they did was they did the 3 legs of the Triple Crown. So they did the Manitoba Derby was leg 1, and I think the Canadian Derby was leg 2, and then leg 3 was the British Columbia Derby.
I was speaking to there was a trainer out there, and we were talking about the track, and I was like, "Look, man, it would be nice to see perhaps one of the more bigger purses out there, just to draw a little bit more attention and to have a bigger occasion." But he was explaining to me that the track is just a smaller track, so you won't have those kind of purses, or wouldn't that be nice just to see that, though, just to have one of those bigger races down there, down Hastings or somewhere like that,
Yeah, I think the Canadian Derby, which is held in Edmonton at Saint-Germain, the purse is pretty big for that one. I think it's 200. But yeah, it would definitely be cool to have like $1 million race there or something.
$1 million race. I can only imagine who would show up there, because $1 million will excite anyone. You'll be having quite a few people there.
I think there'd be a lot more ship-ins.
Oh yeah, for sure. A young man like yourself, just being the fact that you want to work out there and on the track and get up early in the morning. You're not lying in bed playing video games. Do you still play video games, or you're excited about the track?
No, I have to up every morning, but the afternoons are filled with a little bit of video games.
I had to ask you this because I had Rachel on, and I asked her, like, what separates her from the other apprentices. And I want to ask you the same thing. Like, what separates you from all these other apprentices that we see?
That's a tough question. I think I'm willing to work harder than most of. Well, I won't say. I'm willing to work very hard and give the horse the best chance to succeed. And I think I produce some qualities that can help horses win races.
I think she might have said the same thing. So, well, that's pretty awesome, though. It's really good to hear that, man. That's pretty cool, pretty awesome. Now, what's the best horse you've ridden so far? Can you remember, or do you have one that stands out for you?
There's a few that stand out. Obviously, the horse that I won my first race on, that one holds a special place in my heart. The horse I won my first stake race on, horse named Just Jimmy, a very talented horse. He runs out of Vancouver. One of my favorite horses I rode. He's a shorter, stockier horse, real fun to ride.
Now, you mentioned that your first stake race. How many stake races have you won so far, just so that people can be clear?
All right, that's the only stake race I've won.
I just wanted to clear that up, just in case I missed something.
No, just that one. For now.
Hey man, it's fun. It's fun talking to you so far, actually. But I want to ask you, because I remember when I spoke with Slade Jones, and we were talking. But what's the feeling like when you're in the jockey's room and you look around at these guys who were riding races before you were born? How does it feel? What's going through your head, man?
It's I try not to put it too much in the room. Just try and focus on myself, what my horse is gonna do. But it's definitely a little bit of a weird feeling that they've been riding longer than you've been alive.
And and now that I think about it, to me is quite interesting. Like for me, I would be if I was one of the jockeys. I'm looking at you. I'll be like, man, this kid doesn't even know.
Most of them look at us younger people like,
19 years old is not actually a bad age for riding. And I guess you imagine you started riding when you were 17,
started riding races when I was 18.
18.
Yeah.
Well, you're pretty much an adult by the time you started riding races. Uh, so that's pretty cool, and you would have be ready for the occasion by the time that your first mount came around. Um, what did your parents have any fears when you started riding?
Yo, yeah. I think my mom was definitely on the worried side. Um, I think my dad was still a little worried too, but um, they definitely worried, and they definitely still do worry if they're watching and something happens. They definitely get a little worried, but they have confidence in me, so and I think they get it just about as excited as I do when we get a picture taken.
Nice, good. Now, do you have a favorite track yet?
There's Vancouver holds a special place in my heart, but Woodbine is definitely my favorite.
I figure you might have said that. And just the fact that there's this poly track, the synthetic, not poly, synthetic, and the big the turf track. Now, does the turf track excite you, or does it do anything different for you, or you just enjoy riding in general?
The turf was definitely a different experience that I wasn't used to. First time I was ever on the turf was in a race. We actually ended up winning the first time I was on the turf. But it's definitely exciting. I like the turf.
I'll tell you, like for me, the turf is very exciting. So go ahead, I'll let you finish that thought.
Um, yeah, no, there's definitely a different couple things to consider while you're on the turf. Um, but it's a ton of fun. Like horses feel like they're floating while they're out there. It's very cool. I like it.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that. You know, for me, I was saying that as a fan watching races, I just love watching races on the turf. And you'll find also as it warms up and the races start at Woodbine, more and more people will draw towards the rail once the turf gets going. And that's always an exciting feeling, just having that, just having the people. For me, just having all the people lined off in the rail, and for you, I guess it must be a pretty good feeling too. Does that do the same thing for you too as a jockey?
Yeah, I try not to focus on it too much in the race, but on post parade, it's a pretty cool feeling.
Well, I can't wait to see you probably in the King's Plate or somewhere one of those races. I'm pretty sure that's going to come about pretty soon if you keep up what you're doing.
We can hope so. Hopefully.
Jerry's a good guy, so I'm pretty sure he's out there making his bids to have you on some good horses.
Yeah, he's actually coming down here to Ocala, I think, in February. So hopefully I'll see him then. Hopefully, have a little reunion.
Pretty cool. The first time you rode out Fort Erie, what was the feeling like?
It was very homey, if that makes any sense. Like you kind of felt at home there. A little more laid back, and like everybody's super welcoming. Whether it was the stewards, the clerk of scales, the valets, everybody was very welcoming to you.
I always hear that about Fort Erie, and just to touch on that a little bit, I met a couple important people down at Fort Erie one morning, and they were pretty nice to me. So yes, indeed, I agree with what you're saying. Fort Erie definitely good vibe down there. No, which of those tracks? Hastings has the blackish kind of mud. Uh, but what's the feet? What's the kickback like on Fort Erie versus Hastings versus Century and down Assiniboia Downs?
So Field Erie definitely has a little bit of a kickback because it is dirt. Um, but it's not too bad. Well, the day I was there, I'm assuming. Uh, what is the race that they hold there for the Triple Crown?
Prince of Wales.
That is the race I'm thinking of. It was muddy that race. I'm
Hmm.
assuming they back that race. Um, no, I didn't find there was too much kickback when I was there. But definitely on wetter days, it would be quite a bit of kickback. Assiniboia Downs is kind of like Woodbine, where there's not that much kickback at all. I think it's a dirt track though too, but not very much kickback. Century Mile, it was cold when I was there, and it was coming back at like rocks at you. So definitely a little bit of kickback, but Hastings has a lot of kickback.
Wow, man. Did anyone ever prepare you for that kind of stuff, or is it just the initial galloping that kind of prepares you?
Well, before I started riding, I breezed a couple horses, bought like I had somebody breeze in front of me and I was breezing behind them, so I got used to having to pull goggles down and getting dirty.
Quite cool, man. I always used to me and my friend when we watching races, we would always wonder why does jockeys like at that point when the races are going or why do they have to start doing all this kind of stuff with the gear? You had a lot of time to do all kinds of stuff, but once the races get going, you see guys start fixing stuff, start doing stuff. Or is it just because things are altering and that's why you guys do that?
Well, especially like if it's wet, like it's raining a little bit, kind of at the head of the lane, you might pull a pair down just so you can see everything a little more clear. Um, if you got one set of goggles left and you're at the quarter pole at a muddy track, you wait to the quarter pole to pull that last set down, but just so you can see kind of everything down the lane. Um, but I don't know about fixing equipment or anything. I've just pulled goggles.
You're just making yourself comfortable. I get it.
Yeah.
Now, now you've made some really good strides so far last year, man. You must have a bucket list. What's your bucket list like? I know you said obviously the Kings play, probably the Kentucky Derby, but there's quite a few races in between there before those big races usually come around.
Yeah, obviously I want to win a Woodbine stake. That'd be pretty cool. I think that's kind of the bucket list for next year. Um, I wouldn't say I precisely have a bucket list, but there's some things I want to accomplish.
Now, well, I guess it's better to keep that to yourself because you don't want to give it out. People might try to prevent it from happening. You guys are very competitive, even though you have a colony where you ride against each other, but you go back and sit and talk with each other like you're playing chess or playing poker. So I don't know how you guys can do that. Are you getting used to that?
Yeah, I know it's definitely a little weird at first, like especially when people are starting to help you out at first. It's like, "Oh, okay, yeah," and then when you start winning a couple races, they're not so helpful. But that's okay. Still all right.
Yeah, yeah, they're telling you to win, but don't win too much.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh man, I was talking to one of my buddies coming on to the end of the racing season at Woodbine, and we noticed that it has started getting quite competitive. Did it feel competitive for you as well?
I feel like it's always competitive, no matter where you go. Everybody wants to win.
Well, I mean, like the atmosphere must be a little bit different too, as well. In jockey's room, looking at each other, not looking at each other, stuff like that.
I never really experienced any of that. I mean, everybody always has a desire to win, but yeah, I never really noticed too much. Like, I think it's always kind of just competitive.
Cool, pretty cool. Um, Toronto, man. Toronto versus where you're from in Alberta and Vancouver. What's your thoughts on that?
What do you mean?
The vibe in Toronto versus the vibe in Vancouver.
Oh, Toronto is a very Toronto is very professional, and it's very, very eye-opening when you first get there. Um, you got the huge hotel there now, the grandstand, you got the turf track, the poly, and then the other turf track, and the backside is huge. I think it took me a month to figure out. I still don't even know where everything is. Um, but Vancouver's definitely a little bit smaller of a backside and a little bit smaller of a grandstand, but still professional. And I think there's great racing in Vancouver, and I think there's great racing in Toronto.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what, man. You said you don't know where everything else is yet, but I think you know where the finishing line is at. You've
Yeah.
you managed to figure that one out. Hey,
Where's the
will
wire?
we see you? Go ahead.
Where's the gate and where's the wire?
I remember when my friend Rocco Bowen was over in Woodbine, and he rode his race there. And once he finished, I remember him asking, like, he was trying to get to the jockey's room. He didn't even know where the jockey's room was. To me, that was a little bit funny, but you figure out where things are, so that's real cool.
I scrolled through YouTube because before I came to Toronto, so I left Vancouver. I think it was on a Monday. We raced on a Monday, and I had races in Toronto on a Thursday, and I was very nervous coming out. And I did some YouTube. I was looking at like the grandstand, where you go, and all that stuff because I was so nervous, the whole grandstand and everything.
I guess it could get a little bit nerve wracking. I think Woodbine is a pretty big facility compared to most of the other tracks out there. So I can see that. They'd be nice to you at Woodbine.
Yeah, everybody's been. Haven't met anyone that is bad. Everyone is so great.
Yep. It's pretty cool. Everyone I speak to so far, they say the same thing, and that's good to hear. I'm pretty sure Woodbine will be very happy to hear that from most people.
Yeah.
Now, you still got what is it now? February? I mean, sorry, January, February, March. When does training start at Woodbine?
I actually don't know when the training starts there. I couldn't tell you the day. I know what opening day is April 27th, so 2-3 months before then.
Now, and during that time, until that time, what are you doing to keep in shape, stay fit?
Like I said, I am kind of galloping a few horses here, and I do go to the gym and play golf, so I'm staying active and fit. And then I think I'm going to slide home for a week or two, hopefully, and see my parents and some family for a little bit, and then I hopefully head back out to Toronto.
Yeah, awesome, man. Awesome. You have a big family out there?
Not too much. Kind of small little family we got.
Okay, cool, man. Any dogs?
Yeah, my parents actually have they have a little wiener dog. They call her
They call it what? Sorry.
Rowdy.
Oh, okay. Cool, man. Well, look, man. So you're gonna be apprentice for the full year at Woodbine, or how does that work?
No, so I'm gonna get granted an extension. So I'm thinking I should have my bug till mid to late September, I think.
Oh, okay, so you still got quite a few races before they strip you away from your bugness.
Yeah.
And then you got to ride with the big boys. You got to strap that extra pounds on.
Yeah, I put on a couple.
Are you looking forward to that time?
At the current moment, no, I'm excited to keep the bug for another year, but I'm sure I'll be excited no matter what. I love riding races and love riding horses. So
After races, do you ever go back and look at your races and see things that you can do to correct anything, or things that you can improve on, or your homework and stuff like that? Like, how do you approach racing when it comes to that?
Yeah, 100%. I watch a lot of replays and reform a lot. I think after the races, even if I have a couple races off, I read the first. I have a couple races off. I'll rewatch the first race and see what I did. I'll watch a ton of replays and read the form and I watch a lot. Yeah, sorry. I watch a lot of replays. Uh, what the horse likes if I'm gonna ride it in a future race, whether it likes inside, outside, being coming, if it's gonna come off it, is it gonna stalk, is it gonna be on the lead? I watch a lot of the replays.
I got to tell you, man. You know, I think I underestimated you. Just coming from BC to Toronto, and just riding amongst these tough riders here at Woodbine. But you've turned some heads, and you're doing a pretty awesome job, man. So keep up the good work, man.
Very much.
Um, Before we go, I wanted to. There was something else I was going to ask you. I might have forgotten, but I'll see if it comes back to my mind. But I really hope that this year that we see you on some exciting races. I know Keith Edwards. He said that you're his guy. I think he wants to claim you already. They play games like that. They want to get the first jump on other guys. So, but I'm pretty sure you guys will choose wisely.
Yeah, I don't know if they play that game too much. That's between Jerry and the trainer. But
No,
yeah, me and Keith are gonna hopefully hook up on a few races this year and put some more in the winner circle.
I find that the public tends to pull towards certain people, and the gamblers pull towards whoever wins the races. Um, are you aware of that? I mean, just having a public, what do you call public popularity? Um, do you ever think about that kind of stuff? Because jockeys tend to be like stars in the sport of racing, and um, all it takes is a few I don't know, a few media appearances here and there. Are you finding that yet so far, or not quite?
Um, Not quite. I mean, you want to hear a funny story? I'll tell you. So I was going to this golf course here in Ocala, and I kind of go there quite a bit, so I'm kind of familiar with a couple people around there. Buy my bucket of balls, and I buy 18 holes. Um, and the guy, he asked me, um, he's like, "Hey, are you Fraser Aebly, right?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, okay. I was betting on you up at Woodbine." I said, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Hope you made some money, but I have no idea."
I think you'll have that a lot. Some people tend to stick to jockeys, and some people tend to stick to trainers and so forth. But you'll get that a lot. People identify with guys who win for
Yeah. Well,
them.
maybe I lost some money.
Well, I gotta tell you, man. Have you done your homework, like looking at persons like Sandy Hawley and those guys, to see what they have done while they were on the track, and what's your thoughts on actually becoming one of those guys one day?
Yeah, I've done some research. Obviously, you want to do as best as you can. Well, you have the apprentice, while you're bug, or while you're still riding. You want to do the best you can, and obviously, you want to try and get the best. I guess you want the statistics as you want. But I just kind of try and go race by race. I do the best I can.
Pretty awesome, man. Hey, look, I'll tell you this. Good luck this season at Woodbine. And I hope that you can win a couple more stakes, and you can win your first stakes at Woodbine. That would be pretty cool. I hope that you can have your dad and maybe all your parents at the track when you win your first stakes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They were there for my first Woodbine win too.
That must have been really exciting also.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a Friday race day, and they were still still there from dropping me off at Woodbine, and we ended up winning one. And Krista Cole Simpson led him in the picture, and so it was pretty cool.
Awesome, man. I remember that time, so pretty cool. Hats off to you guys. Hats off to Krista. She was the first trainer to put you on your first winner at Woodbine.
Yes, he was Lulu's Lullaby on the turf.
Oh, those are always special. Those you'll never forget those ones, eh?
Nope, never will.
All right, my man. You stay warm down in Florida. What's the weather like down there now?
I think it was it was Fahrenheit 40s, 50s today. So that is, oh my, I think it's like 15-ish degrees today. It was a little bit colder for Florida.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't say I feel sorry for you. We're battling a -1, -2 situation here, so it's a lot better than Alberta, but it's all good.
Warm today too. I talked to mom and dad. I think they said it was. I think it was around 0 today.
Oh shoot, maybe even warmer than Toronto.
Maybe.
I just remember what I want to ask you. So where you're from? You're not too close to my guy down there, Roy Sturgeon, are you? With the Flying Cross Jockey Club.
Do you know where he bases out of? Is he?
I think it's Tacombe. Tacombe. It might be might be a distance from you. I'm not. We'll look it up. We'll look it up afterwards, and I'll send you the information. And I hope one day you can stop by, and if you're ever in an off time, and say hello to the kids and give them some inspiration so that they can be motivated, to do what they do. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if how far away it would be. Maybe if I stop at home, I got nothing to do, I'll stop by.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Well, good luck this season, man. Do not forget the little guy. That's me. When you grow big, you know what I mean?
Never. Maybe we'll do another one in a couple of years.
All right, man. All right, you hang in there. All the best, okay?
Thank you. You as well.
All right, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, bless.
Bless.
All right, that's my guy, Fraser Aebly. Pretty awesome young man. You can tell that he's going to go some places with this racing, and he's going to be pretty good. He's got the talent. It looks like he has the drive. Stay tuned, man. I think he's going to be pretty good. Keep your eyes on him. Watch out for him at Woodbine, and who knows where he pops up the next time. So until next time, peace.